It's time to be creative and to find new sources of trust for Google where your name and your brand is appearing and where your client is searching for your service or product.
Welcome to Search Party. Today I'm joined by Laura Abreu, and we were just laughing about how I cannot speak in a Spanish accent. I'm so sorry. An SEO and PPC specialist with 12 years of experience across all kinds of places: Europe, Hong Kong, Australia. She's definitely an international SEO, a conference speaker, and a judge at the European Search Awards this year. And I had the privilege of meeting her at a Women in Tech SEO conference in 2025. And I'm so happy to have her on the show now because we hit it off immediately. She's so smart, so talented, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation today. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. That was a beautiful introduction. Yeah, today I bring lots of fresh information.
As you know, before we dive into all the marketing of it all, we start with a little game of two truths and a lie. So, do you have 3 statements for me, and I will try to guess which one is false?
Okay, the first one would be I was on a road in India and the guy next to me was riding an elephant and we were inside the car. So that was on a random Saturday night. The second one is I went skydiving in Dubai and I almost forgot how to open the thing
The
properly.
parachute or
Well, there was someone with me, but we sort of had some issues in the air. So and then the third one is I knew someone I used to meet through friends, and then all of a sudden he was out of my radar, and I didn't know where he was. And then he came back to me years later that I had some issues with the justice, and I was in this place where people who don't do good things they go, right?
I'm gonna say the skydiving one is false.
Yeah,
Yay! I'm so
I'm
I'm
so bad
usually
at
pretty bad at
lying.
this, but I'm on a roll. I get these wrong, but the last couple of interviews, I'm getting them right. Okay, well, thank God, because when you said that, I was like, that just sounds horrifying and scary. So I'm really
I
glad that
know.
didn't happen to you. Okay, yeah, give me more details about the first and the third story.
The first one was very crazy. I lived in Bombay for 6 months with my
Mm.
previous partner, and we were going to this fancy restaurant on a Saturday night because, Bombay is all about finance and the cinema industry, right? The sort of all these Bollywood movies, they're mostly made in Bollywood. And so we were going to this fancy restaurant, and all of a sudden, I can feel this shade because it was nighttime. There was a big shade right next to my window, and I was like, wait. And all of a sudden, I could see an eye, and I'm like, wait, we're in the middle of the highway, surrounded by cars. And then I tried to pull my window down, but then I could see it, and I'm like, no, please don't bring the trunk inside my.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
wild.
India's a wild place. I love it, but you see things that you've never seen before. That's the best
That's
description, I
so
would say.
yeah. I can't imagine looking out my car window and seeing elephants. That's
Yeah.
cool. I don't know how it navigated traffic. I really want to pick your brain about the marketing
Yeah.
side of things. So what did you bring to the party?
Yeah, so I brought the party of on my energy and good vibes. Apart from this, I also brought some wine. No,
Yeah, this is actually just a happy hour. I tricked you into doing this.
I bring my energy. What else do you want? No, so I bring building authority in AI through different platforms. I recently wrote an article I may share with you on Search Engine Land, working SEO within the platform of TripAdvisor. I think it's so, people don't know the importance of working SEO on different platforms. Also, social media, we can talk about that a bit later, but it's time to be creative and to find new sources of trust for Google where your name and your
Yeah.
brand is appearing and where your client is searching for your service or product, no?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, especially with LLMs too, it's like that offsite authority has always been important, but I feel like it's never been more important than it is now. So, yeah, if you want to pull that article up, I'd love to have you walk through it with us and add on any other
Yeah.
tidbits, but I'm really curious to see how you
Yeah,
set up your playbook for this.
exactly. Let me share the screen. This was written just 1 month ago. I'm actually preparing the second article on AI overviews. I do travel and hospitality mainly because I think they are the ones that need more traffic more often. They always need to be fully booked, right? They always need to have clients. If you are a restaurant, you need to have always twice
Sure.
at least, right? For lunchtime and for dinner time. So here we can see a bit of introduction on how TripAdvisor in this case is more than just reviews. There are strategies to optimize those listings. People tend to think that just we only need reviews, but the truth is, yes, of course, reviews are the most important part, but also you can do optimized listings, images, to engage. Even you can work the click-through rate, right? By having a persuasive image as the cover of your images within TripAdvisor on your profile, right? You can use a brighter color. You can adjust the settings on those images. That's another thing we can talk about. So, yeah, basically here is how can we fit TripAdvisor within this local search ecosystem? Obviously, only for hospitality in this case and restaurants, but we need to understand that TripAdvisor doesn't work isolated. It's very important for TripAdvisor to be connected with business profiles, so we have the same information. If the category has to be the same. If your restaurant, you're saying that is a romantic boutique hotel, you have to have the for couples on the TripAdvisor as a category. You have to specify, because if there is a misalignment within this information, right, for Google, you are misleading him. So as you know, every time you Google some restaurant or hotel, probably TripAdvisor is gonna be on the top 3 or top 5 positions. So it's that important, and having all the NAP aligned with the business profile is equally important. Also for holiday days, holiday times, you have to update that accordingly, timely. You have to refresh, ideally, the images on TripAdvisor, high quality. If you ask for reviews, if you have the relationship with the clients that you can ask for a review, you can say, please, can you create more context? Don't just say you enjoyed the meal. Can you please explain? Some restaurants can do that. Small restaurants can just, do you mind? And people, if the happy clients won't mind saying, yeah, I really enjoy the family dinner we had with this seafood. So, and then also, most importantly, is when you reply to this, probably what I bring to the party today is responding to reviews. I think people don't see the importance of responding to reviews, adding more context. Let's say you enjoy your family lunch, but you want to say, hey, please come back during the weekends. We have especially kids party with balloons for, you try to add. So when people are searching for places where to celebrate your kids' birth party, Google can identify through those responses and through those, apart from obviously the information on your website, can create more context. So building authority through responses on the reviews would be one of my biggest take today.
I love that. There's a lot there, right? It sounds like all these ways of adding context, I can see it being applied across all the industries, because I hear about this a lot on the e-commerce side too, where there's a lot of encouragement, like
Exactly.
for a product to have all of its use cases. What you were just saying about like, oh, is this
Yes.
restaurant romantic? It's like, oh, this hotel is great for couples on a romantic getaway or whatever. Then the same thing can be said for a product that's like, these shoes are great for tennis and pickleball or whatever, like kind of not letting them guess, being very explicit, right? About what the best uses are or the best occasions are for what you're trying to sell.
Exactly, absolutely right. And especially because the way we search for things in LLMs are very conversational. So if you think about it, if you leave a review and I reply to that review, we are having a conversation. So if
Mm.
the way I respond that review with intention, it adds conversational context. So yeah, exactly. I write bullets, no? All the importance. Respond to reviews with intention, using fresh, high quality images with descriptive captions. And let's just say, for example, right? Grilled salmon served on our sea view terrace. A popular choice for solo travels during the summer. This is a great way to describe that picture of the grilled salmon. Obviously, without sounding too artificial, we need to sound natural, so we cannot force descriptive captions. But sometimes, if you see that you have a lot of solo travelers, you can add these solo travelers on the description as well, if it makes sense. Categories and tags. What we were saying before, they have to have the same categories and tags than business profile. Don't miss any relevant tags. TripAdvisor has a very sharp programmatic SEO structure, and they need to be categorized very similar to Google with URLs, really. So they need to be able to read who your restaurant is for, right? Who is your target audience? And also, if you want to rank for the best 20 restaurants for a romantic Valentine's Day dinner in New York, you need to make sure that you have this category as couples, romantic restaurant, ideal for couples and also for families, but a specific tag or category for that peculiar sector,
Yeah, it
no?
almost sounds
So
like I feel like in any kind of brand, you have to decide what you want to focus on, like what that shorthand description that you want. Like, what do you want to appear in a top 10 list for? Like, do you want your
exactly.
restaurant or whatever to appear in like the top 10, but like you were saying, like the most romantic restaurants for Valentine's Day in New York? Like, you have to kind of decide that before you do any of this, right? And have that exercise of, okay, you can do other things. Like, obviously, those restaurants still exist outside of Valentine's Day, but like, what is the number one thing you want to be known for? And then optimizing for that.
Exactly. Specialization, right? Seeing where you have the most margins on as a business, but then seeing where the demand is coming and then trying to
Yeah.
decide. Because if you have all the categories for family, kids, whatever, couples, it's confusing, right? For kids, because a romantic dinner, you may not want to have kids around and the other way around as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's important, as you were saying, to sort of decide. This is part of the business strategy where, okay, who is our target audience, starting from the very basic. And then other things, obviously, review velocity, same on business profile. Try to reply within the 24 to 48 hours. Try not to use ChatGPT or Gemini on the answers. Use a human writing that because it sounds more natural and it helps with the conversation we were saying, no, about that. And also reply to the negative reviews in a more strategic way, trying to add context to that, not just for potential clients, but also for LLMs.
What's a good example of like kind of the standard reviews you see versus how you would recommend like or like a
Oh,
response to a review because I feel like sometimes I see thanks for your
yeah.
comments or like sorry that was your experience and it'll just be a sentence. How can people expand on those types of responses without sounding like they're trying too hard?
Exactly. So you have to use common sense. What I mostly see is what you just said, right? Thank you for coming. It was a pleasure having you. That's nice, but that doesn't bring anything to your business. So we have to try to use synonyms. So let's say you say, "Oh, I went with my boyfriend and then with my friends." So try to say, "I hope next time you join us with your family," or "Thank you for coming with your partner." If you use boyfriend in your review, I will try to match it with using partner on my response because then I'm adding more context and I'm adding different keywords within the same target audience, right? But again, without forcing it too much, I would say longer reviews, minimum 3 lines, 3 to 4. The longer the better. Don't oversell yourself, but just try to add some hint. I would say reply to what they just said with synonym. Don't use the same keyword because then it's a missed opportunity, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
then add a little bit more context. No, I hope next time you join us for, I don't know, Christmas. We are open
Mm,
in Christmas. If it's, oh, I went for Thanksgiving. Use the Christmas because it's just a month away. So I would say be a bit salesy, but not too much. And the same with
yeah.
business profile, but especially 24 to 48 hours.
That's a great way of looking at it. I wouldn't have thought about it's sort of like what they say about LLMs, like you have to like each sentence has to be its own thought, like it can't rely on what's around it. This is like an extension of that. It's like, yes, you want to kind of reiterate what they said in the review, but in a different way to expand the understanding. But I really like the idea, like what you just said of like, oh, come back on this occasion or for this reason. It's just another opportunity to talk about something else that your restaurant or hotel offers.
Yeah, or if you are opening a new restaurant nearby, try a new location within this state, no? If it's in the US.
Right,
So
right.
always try to, yeah, add something without exaggerating, right? I would say also on TikTok, you can also use this strategy. We can moving to that if you want as
Yeah,
another
no,
platform.
I am not a first of all, I don't have TikTok because I would be so addicted to it that I never downloaded it because I'm scared. I would be on it all the time. So, and I haven't done strictly TikTok marketing. So yeah, I'd be curious because yeah, these are good examples on, like these travel sites, review platforms are huge for anybody, right? Like they're so pivotal to your reputation. But yeah, how do these principles extend to other channels like social and, TikTok being one of the most visual of them?
Yeah, so what we're seeing now is a fragmented search intent, right? So people are using different channels to search for different things.
Yeah.
TikTok is great for traveling. I don't want to do this whole podcast about traveling, but it just happens to be really
No,
good
it's
for travel because
okay.
it's very visual, right? So TikTok has, I would say, the sharpest or one of the sharpest algorithm. So it's so addictive because it has many tricks. They play with psychology so much, and also content creators, they know how to get you on the loop on the same video. So what they do, TikTok creators, is they start the video with the same sentence that they finish that. So it will replay dozens of times because of this. And with TikTok and Instagram, you have to use those profiles as mini landings. With the link part, they only allow you to link one URL. I don't know, what do you think about the link tree thing? People use link tree and then they
Yeah,
have
I've
like
seen that.
10 different links.
Yeah.
For me, because I also do performance, I run ads. They don't tend to perform really well. I mean, you have to choose one URL with your main service, with the best-selling product pages of if you're an e-commerce, and stick to that. Because when you have the link tree, people have to do 2 clicks and then see all these links. They may get distracted. They go somewhere else. So I would say in this era of building authority for AI using different platforms, we have to be strategic with social media channels. And so with the URL on the bio, just one.
That's I never really thought about that, but I do see link trees all the time. And you're right. Like I do sort of like I almost open it knowing what I already want, but then there's like 7 other links there. And
And you're like,
yeah, you can
oh,
yeah, right.
and
Yeah,
I,
and then it's like,
oh.
"Oh, maybe I want this other thing, I'm not sure, like, is that the" So, yeah, similar like, treating it like a landing page makes a lot of sense, and it's the same tenet on a landing page, right? Like, you don't wanna have 17 options for people. If somebody's on a landing page, you want them to do one thing, and you're trying to convince them to do that one thing. So so if you have this TikTok profile and you're treating it like a landing page, you're suggesting that the link should be like to their primary, like, product pages or service pages or whatever it is. How does the rest of the profile function as a landing page?
I use that myself for a service, a small business I had in Australia some years ago. I did that with Instagram, but we can use the same psychology with TikTok. So basically, with TikTok, this URL has to land on either a product page or a form. You want to make them do some action there. So the idea with the mini landing page that I like to call is, okay, with this description really short, again, don't use a lot of emojis. They have to make sense. So if you can use one line, is I want to know, what do you do? I mean, who are you? What do you do? And what do I need to do next? Right? So this URL has to be, what do I need to do next? Let's say
Yeah.
best products for skincare, or this red light mask that I want to buy now. Make it easier. We live in this attention span world, and most of us have ADHD, if not half of the population. So make it clear. I don't have more than 3 seconds to know who are you before scrolling to the next, right? So use that wisely. Your bio has to cover who you are, what do you want to do for me, and what do I need to do next. That's it. If you're gonna use the finger emoji, that's good as well. I use that a lot. And then the thing with both TikTok and TripAdvisor is that you can pin posts to the top. So with now you do highlights in TikTok as well. It's something new from this week. As I'm sure you're familiar with Instagram, you have the highlights. So the 5 highlights that you can see from your phone has to be used really, really wisely. So from left to right, priorities on the left because the eye usually goes left to right, right? So best
True.
selling products, and then if you sell products for a woman, something that's going to upsell those best-selling products. And then, one ideally is about you, who you are, probably your values. I recommend having at least one highlight on values because they want to know what do you care for, right, before trusting you, and some sort of testimonial. So that will be my strategy for the highlights, which you also have on TikTok from now, is or with the playlist as well, right? Testimonials, best-selling products, testimonials, values, who you are, and then something else that you want to add that adds value. So treating the social media profiles as mini landings, all right? And then pin to the top something else, but don't repeat yourself. Don't use the same strategy as you did with the highlights. You can say how to buy from us, right? How to, this carousel, how to, and then within 3 to 4 slide max, you say, very easy, you go to this page, and then shipping methods, free shipping, something that's gonna create this sense of urgency, right? And then maybe an influencer you collaborate with, or a video that went viral. So ideally you use this, and I promise you, Amanda, I did that with a small business I had in Australia, who was an agency bringing students to study English in Australia. So something, not very sexy, but only by using social media, I all these clients. I didn't spend anything on ads. So, and I had really this in place, these 3 steps.
No, I love that framework. Because people often think about social media as a discovery platform, right? Like, obviously, they're being used more and more for searching, but it is a certain because it's important real estate when somebody lands on your site. Like, I feel like I see a lot of people, they use the pins and the, featured posts to kind of have like their newest like trends and stuff like that, and like newest products and services, and if there's an occasion coming up. But I don't really see a lot of some of the other things you're talking about, like the customer or client testimonials or reviews. I don't really see that a lot. So it is true that, when we think about optimization for search,
Yes.
and we're thinking about it for social, you're right. These are really important components that we have to think about. It's like, if somebody doesn't even bother to scroll down to see your, actual content, like what are they getting in that first, the tiny little panel at the top about who you are and why they should care?
Especially because Google is crawling Instagram and TikTok. I searched for my name before on Google just for curiosity, and a picture of me from TikTok was on the. So we really have to take social media more serious than we've done until now, I would say.
Yeah, and you talked about a little bit about images. I just want to touch on that because is there anything outside of the obvious of like, don't use stock images and don't, like have high quality images that people should think about like across social channels? Because I do wonder about that, like when it comes to search, if there's any other best practices image or video wise that people are missing.
Yes, I actually did this for a restaurant client, and I almost tripled their revenue just using social media business profile. So what I usually do is, if depending on the product, but for food, really close-up videos, they tend to work really well. If you are creating a video on, just make it a smooth transition, and there are many CapCut, this tool to edit videos, tutorials on social media on how to get with different sounds, how to get people's attention. But I would say make sure it's bright and is inviting, right? If you are selling, the other day I saw this e-commerce and they were struggling with the campaigns because, as you know, I also do run ads, and I saw the images and they were so dull. I said, why don't you, use the settings, brighten those images, because the human eye, the only thing that's gonna make them stop scrolling is gonna be brightness, some vivid color, right? You want lively colors. So the human eye, you need to think that what's gonna make them stop scrolling, right? On search is bright colors, easy to understand. So you have to make sure that these images are easy to understand within 2 seconds. That's the attention span we have to get people's attention. But at the same time, with TikTok, I've used videos that had a very quick beginning. So at the beginning of the video, if you do something really quick, people will rewatch it because they couldn't really understand what the video is about. And so you get more visibility because people are rewatching the videos. So I got actually over 600,000 views using this strategy. It was unintentional, but then
the beginning is so fast that they don't understand what they just saw. and that's why they keep watching? Like, what's an example of that? Like, what would you show? Like, is it like,
Yeah. So for social media, this is called hooks. This
yeah,
was completely unintentional, but I'm going to tell you about another hook I use in Australia. So this was in Spain, a restaurant. They had this big plate of seafood, completely full. And so the waiter was bringing this massive plate to the table, and because it was so heavy, it was going really quick. And so I sort of took a snap of that video, and it was really impressive, right? All the seafood almost
um,
falling from the plate. And so it was only 6 second video, but it got over 600 views, and they brought them so much revenue because people save that also as well, and then resend it to their friends. So you always want to make sure people are going to save your content. Saving the content is one of the strongest signs for the algorithm on social media to promote your content on the explore page.
what encourages people to save something? Like, if you want
That's
to
hmm,
optimize for that.
educational content, educational tips, tricks. You may say, okay, Laura, but my profile is not about this. But I know, maybe you can add something. You can think about something related to your industry. Think about yourself. What would you save this for later? Probably an exercise if you do fitness, but a specific exercise. Exercise for post pregnancy, or exercise for losing belly fat. So specific tips, education, yeah, hacks, something that recipes food, how to use and how to know, how to curl your hair. I have a lot of how to curl your hair,
Yeah,
but
these like tutorials that like
tutorial.
probably need to go back to because yeah, when I think about because I'm huge on Reddit and I've saved so much stuff on Reddit and I'm trying to think
Ah,
about like what it is that makes me save that stuff. And it is 9 times out of 10, it is like something I want to reference later. It's like a list of books that somebody loves or like like an event coming up or something where I'm like I like this now, but I can't use it now, and I need to have it somewhere so that I can refer to it later.
yeah,
And then
in
I guess,
social.
like, some, like, various entertainment things that, like you said, I wanna send to my friends at some point. I just wanna have,
Yeah,
stored
in
somewhere.
in social media and also on Reddit, uh, good content creators, what they do is they create this FOMO, right? They say, "Oh, make sure don't miss the best event in Philadelphia in October." And then so they're gonna save your post, save this for later so you don't forget. So they use this FOMO, and then immediately we all save this. Or they start with this hook, like this book changed my life, and then so you wanna save it because you think you're gonna get all these new sales from this book, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I love thinking about hooks like that. I'm thinking about it a lot being on YouTube now, right? It's like on YouTube you have 30 seconds and what's so crazy is you talking about TikTok having 2 seconds. 2? Like that is such a fascinating like challenge of like how do you hook somebody's attention? Because yeah, we're just sitting there scrolling all day. It's like what does it take for your brand to capture that kind of attention? And that seafood example is it's like the unusual, like the surprising, the curiosity provoking or like a promise of value. I don't know, like there's so many different ways, but like 2 seconds is so short that I feel like there's a little bit of an art to it too to communicate something like that.
Yeah, and also understanding people's psychology. So let's say with this podcast, if you start with my three twos, no, two twos and a lie, people may wanna watch this, and then you say that at the end of the video, Laura's gonna say which one was the truth and a lie.
Oh,
Even
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
this podcast is about marketing. If you make these engaging hooks, or let's say you take reels from this podcast, and you, I don't know, you pick a part where I'm saying, this is gonna help them appear on LLMs, and they don't know
Yeah.
that's what I spoke about the reviews, right? Leaving this hook are gonna people just watch it because they wanna know what she was trying to say. So I think editing is a big part on YouTube. You can also do SEO for YouTube. You can do playlist on YouTube. Let's say you have more people talking about building authority in the AI. You can create a playlist, so people that they start watching this podcast, they may stay on the playlist and watch the rest of the videos. But also on the titles, you can use SEO for that. You can create titles that are catchy, right? Catchy titles, and that they have keywords that people are searching for on YouTube, right? So there's a whole science around YouTube SEO, and also using the thumbnail on
Yes,
a,
that's huge.
the thumbnail
Yeah.
saying, are you replying reviews the right way for LLM? Something, or probably shorter, but this is how, this is how you should be responding to reviews.
Yeah,
And
you're
then,
doing it wrong,
yeah, this, you're like, very Tony Robbins. I love Tony Robbins. This is because your mom, when you were a kid, so she abandoned me, and now here you are, replying reviews the wrong way.
But it's okay, I'll fix you.
I'll fix you,
Watch
okay?
this video and everything will
On
be
this
great.
30-second video, this is your only chance, okay? And then I'm gonna delete this video, and you're like, if you do this, I'm like, boom, I'm sold, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna
Right, you
watch
can't
it,
not
okay?
watch it at
You
that
start
point.
crying, yeah. Then you think about your mom. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I'm the way I am because of
One last question I wanted to ask you was because of your expertise, you have like this blended expertise of SEO and paid. So we're talking about all these kind of like organic things people can do, right? To try to appear more in searches, whether it's Google, social platforms, whatever. How has the relationship between both shifted these days?
Oh, I love these questions. I love the question. I love the question because we are seeing a lot of bad traffic coming from Google Ads because, as you know, people cannot really guess if it's either a sponsored content or if it's a search content. So they don't always want to buy from the just searching. So those clicks, my clients pay for those clicks, right? So that's one thing. You need to make sure that copy is very clear that what you are selling in terms of Google. But for social media, I wanted to say something. That I was telling you about this mini landing page and all that. There is a very good campaign on Meta. That's a traffic campaign that not many people know about. You can use this. Not many people know about this campaign. I'm going to say right now.
We're being so meta, being like, this is, as I'm saying it, this is going to be the hook. Yeah.
I'm trying to create clips so you can use them later for you. So what I'm going to say is the campaign. Honestly, this type of campaign brought me almost 3 times revenue to my clients. So it's a traffic campaign that is on Meta. Go manual. People these days, they go crazy with, let's just automate everything. If you automate the campaigns, they don't have good results. It's sort of similar to programmatic SEO. I know people are not big fan of that. So with campaigns, with Meta ads, I would go manual and then use the traffic campaign. And then on the traffic campaign, people think, traffic goes to my website because it says website URL. But then you can use the Instagram URL, your username, as the end URL of that campaign. So that is crazy because you have people on Meta who see the ad on Meta. They don't leave the platform, which is always a big thing. It's always very beneficial for the advertiser and for the platform. So, and then the end link is Instagram profile. So do you understand the full circle? It converts a lot. People tend to just land on your profile and follow you. And once they follow you, you can then target them from different campaigns, as in people who have interacted with my profile. But getting organic followers, saying real followers using this type of campaign can be done maybe with $20 per day. So it's a really cheap campaign and it's not very used. So yeah, that's another thing I'm bringing today.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It makes sense because you're just like, it's a lower lift to follow somebody than, some ads try to get your email or try to, whatever, all kinds of other stuff. And it's like, yeah, I really like this concept. And then once they're following you, they can, you'll see what kind of content you produce that appeals to them and cater to them that way. It's a really good tip. Thank you so much for being on the show. If somebody wants to read what you're doing and hear more insights from you, where can they find you aside from search engine land? I will put those links in the description because you have been writing some great stuff for them, but anywhere else that they should go?
Probably LinkedIn, because I use X also to follow the Artemis to the moon. So the Artemis.
Yeah.
I'm more fun on X, but I would say my LinkedIn. And I just want to say the last thing, Amanda, that's very
Yeah.
important for social media. They say to use your feed as a PR strategy, right? Who you are, things you do, but then stories for sale, because the stories, as you know, they have this direct URL link that you can then send them to the landing page on your website where they're going to convert. So use stories to sell, the feed to tell them who you are and what you've been up
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense based on what you were saying earlier of like how you make that your landing page and where to put what. So yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Thank you so much, Laura, for coming on the show. And thank you all so
to.
much for listening. If you want an invite to the after party, sign up for our newsletter. That's where we drop exclusive behind the scenes tidbits, and there will be some from this interview. And where guests answer our spicy question of the month. This month's question is, what's the worst piece of advice you've ever followed? Until next time. Keep learning, keep testing, and keep showing up.